Hello everybody, it's Reddy, your holistic dentist. I'm going to be talking today something that's relevant in the contemporary times of brain fog and oral health. Right? We know that brain fog is a colloquial term often used in an expression of somebody that has transient loss of memory, in state of forgetfulness, being dull, and perhaps what you call a scatterbrain. I want to refer to an article by Dr. Christian Jarrett, who is an esteemed, renowned neuroscientist in the world. And his latest book is written, Be Who You Want. And he's very highlighted this in terms of the importance to understand that brain fog has been attributed in the current situation in terms of whether you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, whether people who have had chemotherapy were known as a chemo brain, and the speculative effects would say that what has COVID done, whether it's in terms of the COVID-2, the virus, in terms of affecting you, in terms of what known as a long COVID, and how it has dulled you, or perhaps a transient loss of memory. And these are speculative things. There's no definite evidence to say scientific long-term studies are done, but COVID might reach the brain directly and interfere with brain function, or it may not. But these are things which are tentative at the moment in terms of discussion-wise. Similarly, it's evident to show that drugs and chemotherapy might affect brain function, right? And the emotional, the social factors that during the pandemic, whether it's a lockdown, whether it's not socializing with people, whether it's working long hours from home, whether it's being lonely, whether your sleep patterns have been affected. So all these are sort of called tentative facts about causing the so-called muzziness and causing this transient loss of blankness. And how do you overcome this, right? And so what are we seeing here in terms of oral health, in terms of dentistry, and what is the relevance of this? Because we find that lots of people come to the surgery. We know that in South African context, 87% of people that have been affected by COVID, knowingly or unknowingly, even though some of you may not have had the so-called COVID test. So we're seeing that the impact, one, orally, in terms of your oral health-wise, in terms of your expression to say, what happened to your gums? What happened to your state of gum infections or your decay in your mouth? In terms of what are the evidence that's shown that could have caused it from your clarity or lack of clarity? So we find that patients are not giving us the evidence or information clearly in terms of how and the transition happened pre-pandemic and during pandemic. Hence, it's confounding dentists to generate information to say, am I seeing more oral infections, more bleeding than before, more oral ulcers? And we find that it's this aspect of clarity of the brain fog is affecting paper information. Hence, the dentists are in the dark now, but doing integrative diagnostics to ensure that we get the correct information to apply this information. So I found that as a holistic dentist, I need to help my patients to say that, how can I clear this brain fog, right? And Dr. Christian Jarrett has given us some tools and information to say that, right? Some of the information is that stress levels. He says that poor sleeping patterns, right? Being more in a closed environment. How does geopathic stress in a closed environment affect your stress-bearing levels? We know that if you're in an environment with too much of walls and patches, it produces a thing called standing waves. How the standing waves tend to affect your vibration state. In terms of, I've done this in a previous video on your energy levels and vibrational medicine, and perhaps you could refer to those videos as well, right? And so we would like to say that from a personal perspective, how can I help my patients to cope with these kinds of things? So one of the things I help to cope with is get a digital diary or get a written diary in terms of clarity of thought. Sometimes just go into a state of silence, to just step a few backs instead of reacting continuously or consistently. How do you get the thought process together, right? And how do you perhaps fade away from not being chronically overloaded? And how do you juggle your responsibilities? How do you become more clarity, less multitasking, less focused attention in accomplishing your task and ensuring that the task is finished, then move on to the next task, right? In terms of lifestyle-wise, definitely we find that patients who are having too much alcohol and too much of junk food and tend to affect patients' clarity. So we recommend less alcohol, regular sleeping patterns, and something called a power nap. So if you work long hours, you have a little sleep during the afternoon, close your eyes and have a power nap, and then to regenerate your mood swings. So what's important in mood swings? So we need to generate the correct serotonin levels, to correct the endorphins, or a feeling of well-being. Therefore, we said exercise. In this time of COVID, you may have had COVID, a logical long COVID. Do not go and vigorously intensify your exercise because of your compromised lung function. Have protracted exercises. Walking is very good. Stealthily, mild running, mild cycling and swimming. And martial arts, integration in terms of your right brain, left brain coordination. Yoga and breathing exercises. So this is what Christian Jarrett has advocated to, how to get your balance. And don't look at this as an illness, but look at this from a perspective of reflection to harmonize your health. And I can tell you from a dentist perspective, by following these protocols and helping our patients, and we're seeing the results in patients becoming more integrative and taking ownership and showing that their DNA is able to function better by responsibly altering your lifestyle positively in terms of your lifestyle habits, in terms of healthy lifestyle, less alcohol, better nutrition. Thank you for listening, and would you like to like and subscribe to our videos, and we look forward to the future videos that's coming up soon. And one of the things I'll be talking about nutrition and the optimal brain function. Thank you.